请运动员尽快进入比赛场地检录，比赛马上开始。在比赛开始之前，提醒一下场内所有人员，请将您的手机调整为静音或关闭状态。拍照请关闭闪光灯。比赛期间，请保持赛场安静。赛场内禁止吸烟，禁止弃权。参赛选手禁止弃权，禁止为对手免球。以上行为将被视为违反体育精神的行为，会受到组委会的处罚。
Gentlemen in the mix.
欢迎大家来到利百文台尼乔氏杯2025中式8球大师赛南宁站的比赛现场。接下来将要进行的是本次比赛半决赛29至30场的比赛。下面为大家介绍本场比赛出场的裁判员及运动员。2号台裁判员玉林，记录裁判员殷婷，运动员郑肖怀、孔德京。TV 台裁判员刘法恒，记录裁判员李勇、龚一航，运动员梁时宇、陈思明。现在比赛开始。
请双方选手争夺开球选择权。预备，3、2、1，开始。陈思明获得开球选择权。比赛开始，第一局陈思明开球。
Good day, everyone, and welcome back to the 2025 Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour. 704 players started this tournament.
10秒。
Now, just 4 remains. This is the semi-final of this tournament,
延时
proudly presented by Joy Billiards and Liba Win Cloth on the TV table. Liang Xiu up against Chen Ziming. This is a race to 17. It is single elimination for a place in the final of the Division 1 Tour later on today. That will be at 7:30 p.m. local time here in China. We did have Chen on the TV table against Yu Haitao the other day, and she was in really, really good form, not giving him any chances and taking all the opportunities she could get. 4 break and runs, 6 rack and runs to win that match against Yu Haitao. That was a last 32 match where we had her on the TV table. She's done well to get into this last 4 now, but up against a tough opponent in Liang Xiu. Defeated Sun Yan last night 17-16, right down to the wire. Sun Yan missing a black ball to win that match. But I did say that if Sun Yan does come against a player that is taking full advantage when he's at the table and punishing him for his mistakes. His cue ball was a bit too loose when we saw him on the TV table yesterday morning. I would say that's one of the main reasons why you don't see Sun Yuan going this far in this tournament. But Liang Xiu, he did have a 3rd place finish at the Changchun Super Tour. Quite a few top 16, top 32 finishes. Also one of those players that's consistently going deep in these tournaments.
PK 3局，杨世瑜开球。 10秒。5，延时。
Okay, guys, it does look like we are back online. We are aware of the network issues that we are facing. We do apologize for that. It is not easy to try and get a high quality stream out of China. It's very difficult indeed. If you know about the China firewall or you've been to China, you'd know it is really, really difficult to get through that. So just bear with us. We do apologize for the inconvenience. And it looks like we are up and running again. We're good to go. However, we have not missed too much, although the players at the table have been missing a few balls from what I've seen. In the semi-final match here at the Division 1 Tour, score is currently 1-1 between Liang Xiu and Chen Ziming. Had to go cushion first to pot that one, and he would have been on the one ball as well if he got it. But surely now this is going to be framed to Chen. She does get the one ball handicap. Now how that works is part of the Heyball rules, of course. Players under the age of 14 and female players playing against male athletes get one ball off the table. That is the last ball. Could have landed better on this black ball. However, I don't think it is going to be an issue. It almost was. Chen Ziming. This is not the greatest start for both players, but Chen Ziming is up. She's 2-1 up in this race to 17.
今天给大家推荐一款非常好的台泥 H153，是我自己用了1年多的台泥，汗毛量80%，手感特别细腻，走位很平稳。
So at the start of this tournament, 704 players. We are down to just 4. It's these two on the TV table. The other semi-final, Zheng Zhaohai up against Kong De Jing. Score is currently 1-1. In that, it's just gone 2-1 to Zheng Zhaohai now. We had him on the TV table last night. He was up against Wang Luqi. And so far, hitting records in this tournament, 7 consecutive break-in runs, a total of 9 in that match. He was up 12-0 in that race to 17. And she started to come back slowly, making it 14 or 15-6, 15-7. But in the end, was not able to catch up. I mean, a 12-0 lead. Even though the match is not timed, that is very tough to come back from. We hope you have been enjoying the tournament. This is the final day, with the final being later on at 7:30 p.m. Tomorrow we'll start the Super Tour and the opening ceremony for the tournament, or the Super Tour part of the tournament. So we'll have the international qualifiers that will be streamed as well, with the opening ceremony also. I'm your commentator for this tournament, Raymond Tillack, and I'll be with you from stage 2 or stage 3 in the Super Tour right until the end. Tournament ending on the 4th of January, running right through Christmas, right through New Year's, and we do hope you are having a lovely festive period wherever you are joining us from in the world. Now she only needs 2 of these last 3 remaining stripes that are on the table. It looks like she is finding some sort of rhythm now. Those first 2 nervy frames with quite a few misses. That's unexpected at this level. Also, you have to remember this is for a place in the final later on today. And Chen Suming is a player that usually does go quite deep into these tournaments as well. We'll have to check the stats to see how far she's gone in the past, what's been her best result. But this is definitely a great result for her. And Chen Suming takes her 3rd point. That is a break and run, I believe, from her. It is. We've got 1 break and run for her, 1 rack and run for Liang Xiu. Now the scoreline can start to change quite quickly. We were at 1-1 when we did get back to the action. It was 2-1 loading. It's already 3-1 that quickly. Winners break format here. Be interesting to see if anyone can beat 7 consecutive break and runs in this tournament. So far, I think that is the most we've seen from this winners break format. A lot of power going into that break from Chen. And we've seen the break that has been working though, and that break is the softer, more control break. Worked for Sun Yuan, worked perfectly for Jing Zhaohai. That's the only way you can put together 7 consecutive break and runs. That's if your break is working exactly how you want it to. As you can see, this tournament is being played on the Joy Q8 gold leg table. Steel blocked cushion. It is the flagship table of Joy at the moment. Cloth with the Lieberwind 8848 cloth. International standards for Heyball tournaments around the world. And also, we can see that this table has been reclothed overnight. So we've had the table technicians in after yesterday's quarter-final match on the TV table, and this table has been reclothed for today, the day of the semi-final and finals. Now, of course, for Liang Xiu, it's tough going up against the 1-ball handicap. You really have to be on your game. He knows what Chen Slimming can do at the table, how good she is, and how easily she can put together a few frames. So he's gonna have to do well to stay with her or try and take that lead. Had a very convincing lead against Sun Yan yesterday. He was up by about 6 frames at one stage. But that is still a very, very good victory to get over Sun Yan. Was a little bit too straight on that 13 ball, and that's the reason he's had to leave a bit of distance between the black ball and the cue ball. Couldn't go anywhere with that cue ball. It's there, he gets a rack and run, and that is off Chen Slimming's try break. Got his second point on the board. The score is 3-2 in favor of Chen Slimming. Now Chen Slimming was up against Shen Shenyi yesterday evening or yesterday morning, and what I did notice is he had 8 rack and runs, which either means that Chen was breaking dry a lot and he was clearing the table, or she was breaking in, coming to the table, and then not able to clear. I do think, however, sometimes her break doesn't work for her, and that could cost her quite a few frames at this level. How does a ball not go into those center pockets? Have a look at the replay. You'll see so many balls traveling towards the center pockets. There we go, the 6, the 5, and the 12 nearly going in, but nothing in. Dry break chance for Chen. Solids in play. It's going to be the 6 ball that comes off the table. Yeah, look, I don't think she's played for that. I think she's played to come out a little bit more for the 5 ball and finish up table, because the pattern's down here. It's the 4-2-3-1. So it looks like the pattern might be changing. Does the 6 ball go? Yeah, really, I'm surprised. I'm shocked at the pattern in which she's taking. The 3 ball is wide open. There would be no need to risk it playing into the 6. Yeah, the 5 ball is up table, but also wide open. I have no doubt that she can get the cue ball anywhere she wants. It's going to be a recovery now, and I think the cue ball is hidden behind that 10. How much of the 2 can she see? Does she have the potting angle of the 2? Look, in her favor, if she does, the cue ball is running up table anyway, which means she's going to be on the 5. had to put a bit of side on that and she's missed it. She did not have clear sight of the potting angle, and that is just a weird pattern that she's tried to play there. So far, not the confident Chen that we are used to seeing. Now Liang Shu at the table, I don't think he expected to be back at the table after a break like that, having a look at where the balls were. But he does have some work on this table. And that's why he's tried to go in the 14. He's got a bad kiss. And what is going on in this match? That's ball in hand for Chen Suming. This is very nervy at the moment, but it's better these players get this out now than have this happen in the final later on today. And that's the one ball off the table, and that is 4th point on the board for Chen Suming. Made a mistake in that one, but she's managed to get the frame back. This is a very nervy start indeed in this match.
轩辕、赤霄、龙渊、干将、默邪、纯君、程颖，引领市场，肯定未来。
第7局，陈思明开球。
Chen Suming leads 4 frames to 2 in the semi-final match. Have a look at the scoreline on the other match. Kong Dejing leading 3 frames to 2, and that was the cue ball that went into the top left corner pocket. Now in the previous frame, you would have seen the last ball was removed for Chen. That is the handicap rule that we have in Heyball. Players under the age of 14 and female players get 1 ball removed off the table, and that is the last ball when playing against a male player. Now cue ball in on the break. That is ball in hand behind the balk line. And you have to play forward, so can't play within the balk area, any of the balls that are there. Was not as easy as he made that look. Nicely to come around 2 cushions. He's on the 11 to the center pocket. I feel at some point he's gonna want to disturb the black ball. I would go 14 next. That's what he's looking at. Actually be going 14 and then 9 actually. Dangerous, very dangerous to go into them. very close to that green stripe 14. And it's not straight in as well, so he's going to have to work the cue ball. So that's a decent recovery shot to get back on the 9. That was the plan actually all along, was to come down the right hand side and then clear up the 2 stripes that are on the left. You're going to see him trying to get low on the 13, that is the orange stripe. It's the only way he makes it easy for himself to get the cue ball a little higher for the 15. Problem is, with where the balls were situated, there wasn't really a chance for him to go into the black ball now and to be on his next object ball, unless he was going to do it on his last shot, which he actually could do now. There is enough of an angle on this. Deciding not to, and what's he going to do now? He's going to have to cross bank this to the center pocket. There's no bank to the corner. He's not going to be cutting that down the left cushion. This doesn't go in, he's in trouble. It's not there. It's not there. Was a chance to get his 3rd point and a rack and run off that break, which in swimming potted the cue ball, and now to the table. Yeah, the blue 2, green 6 go to the right center pocket, so there would actually be no need to even take the 5 on. Now the 7 is the connector to the black ball. Black ball to the center pocket. However, getting on the 7 and getting on that 7 without a lot of angle, that's the important part here. Preferably leave that 7 as straight as possible. And she's got enough angle on the 6, just enough angle on the 6 to the center pocket to get nicely on the 7. Has to judge it right though. And that is almost perfect. It's looking good. 5 ball comes off the table. That is the handicap ball. Great counter clearance from Chen, getting her 5th point. She's 5-2 up in the semi-final against Liang Xiu. That is 7 frames played. After the next frame, we will have a player break every 8 frames. Have a 5 to 10 minute player break. Score from the other match currently on, that is Zheng Zhaohai against Kong De Jing. Kong is 3-2 up with 2 break and runs. Zheng Zhaohai 1 break and run. Going to be difficult for him to replicate that performance of last night. 7 consecutive break and runs. But that was almost perfect play from Zheng Zhaohai on the TV table last night. She's made a ball on the break this time. Does she have an opening shot? I think she might just have a solid to the center pocket. Unless it is frozen to that jaw. We'll have a look at the 5 now. It could go. So far 7 frames played, only 3 one-visit clearances. That's 1 break and run from Chen, 2 rack and runs from Liang Xiu. Not an easy pot that on that 3 ball, being so close to the object ball and not straight into that corner pocket. Should be able to hold the cue ball for the 4. She can go 4-2-1. Black ball, 6 gets removed. Decided she couldn't really stop the cue ball there, hold it without running into the stripes, and that's why she has done that. Thought she might choose to reroute, being so close to the stripe ball, playing the 4 to the top corner pocket. Yeah, no problem at all. And like this, she was actually able to come down to play the 1 into the center pocket first. Might need the extension on the cue. Cue ball is past the center pockets. These are 9-foot tables, so it is quite a stretch when the cue ball is that far down table. And it's going to be black ball to the corner pocket. 6 gets removed, and she looks like she's straight in on that. And that is her second break and run of the match. Chen Siming leading 6 frames to 2 after 8 frames played in this race to 17 semi-final match, and that is the player break. We will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes.
提醒您，精彩比赛马上开始。一线赛事指定台名：丁俊晖、奥沙利文、郑宇博、楚秉杰等国内外一线球星代言。利百文台泥，高档羊毛皂。 一点是聚焦、沉淀，一线是专注、艺术，一面是缜密、智慧，方寸间雕刻，毫厘间镶嵌。成木质之美，雕琢洞天，遇腾龙之势，巧思匠心，以点线面，以小现大，步步为营，丝丝入扣，毫厘间不失方寸，握度间尽长天地。龙跃而起，潮流之势，包罗万象，读之珠，匠心之作。
河北省天一集团创立于2013年，注册资金500万，员工230余名，有着10余年的生产经验及研发设计、生产销售于一体的大型生产企业。优秀的员工、先进的技术、精良的设备，严格的管理使公司得以不断的发展壮大。精确、可靠、专业是我们生产的精神和服务信念。
天一沙发让舒适无处不在。
我是代言人郑卫国，星星暴走，年轻自由。
我是代言人雨龙海，星星暴走，年轻自由。
我是代言人楚秉杰，星星暴走，年轻自由。
Our little boy has got the blues.
You better watch what you do to me. Watch what you do to me.
How much? That's for no question.
冠军500万乔氏大师赛官方供应商，正红胶边均匀回弹，铸就一流打感，持续助力中式台球职业化联赛，制造好球桌，胶边选正红。
俺老孙啥功名不要，只求回到这花果山中了，过过逍遥日子。
天耀球杆，换一切为可能。中式八球，俗称黑八，是一项原创于中国的运动，在乔氏的推动下，已走进全球96个国家。乔氏中式八球，风靡全球的中国运动。
罂粟胶边具有国内胶边。
暂停结束，比赛继续。第9局，陈思明开球。
And we are back after that player break. Score 6-2 in favor of Chen Ziming. Currently on 2 break-in runs, 1 before the break as well. And let's say the scoreline could have gone both ways at the moment. Mistakes from both players. Is solids in play after that dry break from Chen. And at this level, a dry break is most times an opportunity to get a rack and run from your opponent. That being said, however, that was not the greatest first shot. Hasn't come out enough to be nicely on the 4 to the center pocket or the 5. He's left himself some work here straight after the opening shot. And it's going to be 4 to the top left corner pocket. It's not there. It's not there, slightly wide. Just cut that a little bit thick. And that's what I'm talking about. It hasn't been perfect play from these two players. It's a very real opportunity for Liang Shu after the dry break, but not able to capitalize on it. Still not the easiest of tables for her. She's still got pink 12, brown 15 on the left side. Good pot that. Just quickly around to check if she had a slight angle on the 13 to disturb 12 and 15. I don't think there's enough on it. If there's no way to get into the 12-15, there's no point taking on the risk of trying to finish this table, because she needs one of those balls now. Opposite center pocket is free, which means she could bank one of them. Now then, it has to be the bank. It's there as well. Nicely done to push the 12 down. Now she can take the 12. It is in a much better position since she's not really nicely on the 9. But the angle she had on the 15, it was always going to be pushing the 12 in that direction. The only issue I see here, though, is almost straight. Well, is straight, which means a cue ball is not going to be coming off the cushion. And she's going to have to play this black ball from there. Now, this is tough. There's a slight angle on it as well. You've just got the top part of the cue ball, which you can see. Usually on shots like this, you have to trust your technique. Make sure you push through the cue ball, not down on the cue ball. Head still, body still. And gets it there. 7th point for Chen Siming. She's leading 7 frames to 2 in the semi-final race to 17. Now that was cue ball in on the break again from Chen, so not able to stay at the table. And although the gap is 5 frames, because it's a race to 17, no time limit on these matches, there's definitely a chance to come back. But Liang Xiu needs to show something. He needs to show some kind of, he needs to bring that form that he had yesterday in the first part of the match against Sun Yan. He's struggling at the moment. He's not perfect on this 13. He's made the pot harder for himself. He's made the next positional shot tougher as well. That's a decent pot to still stay on the 15. Better. Much better from Liang Xiu. And that's another rack and run for him off Chen Siming's break. He's got 3 rack and runs now as he gets his 3rd point. Reduces Chen's lead to just 4 points. That's a referee calling 10 seconds. He's taken his extension already in this frame. Players get 45 seconds per shot, one extension of 30 seconds in a frame. So now there's a chance for him to build some momentum here. He's managed to get that rack and run, good break. He's staying at the table, nicely gets the 15 into open play. Score in our other semi-final, it's Kong Dejing 4-3 up against Zheng Zhaohai. Two break and runs for Kong Dejing, one rack and run for him, and one break and run for Zheng Zhaohai. It's quite a slow match there. Only 7 frames played thus far, and those are, I'd say, the greatest finishers left in the tournament at the moment. Kong Dejing, also a player that can put together quite a few consecutive break and runs as well. Marvel to watch when he's in good form and in control of the table. Now 9 does go, but he would have definitely liked to be... Yeah, he played for the 9, but he would like to be low on the 9 to be able to just nudge the 7, so he might have to reroute. Play the 9 from the bottom into the center, and that'll be his way to disturb 7 and 11. I think he's just come enough. There's enough angle on the 9 to nudge into the 7. And that could be end of visit. That has not worked out at all for Liang Xiu. Yeah, he's wanted to knock the 7 out of the way, screw back, play the 11 into the same pocket. Problem with that is he didn't have enough angle for that shot that he played. Good pot using the rest, but now where is the 11 going? Doesn't go with the previous shot that he played when he moved the 7. It doesn't go to the top now. It could go before. Does he do? Also, he's releasing the 7. If he can put the 7 on the cushion like that, yeah, that's not bad at all, because now the 4 and the 7 are safe. Yeah, it's great awareness of the 1-ball handicap there from Liang Xiu, knowing that he has to make sure there's 2 balls that are safe on the table to at least cause a bit of a problem for Chen. I'd say the only thing better about that shot is if he played it a little bit softer, got the 7 glued to the cushion, got the cue ball tight onto the ball cushion. Yeah, a lot going on in her head there. There was the 4 and the 7 causing that. She knew that she's got a lot of work to do at the table. But I think she's gotten a little bit lucky here. Does he have the potting angle of the 11? He doesn't. again, now looking at the table, I'd say a little bit of an advantage to Liang. And I say that because Chen's got 3 balls along the cushions, although there is quite an easy safety for her to play, and at the same time she can remove one of those balls off the cushion just like that, but she's left the jump shot. This is going to be jump cue coming through 100%. It looks like a Predator air rush. Can't really see what butt is on that, but yeah, jump cue is definitely out. And this is potable. He's come close. At least the 4 and the 7 are still safe. And he hasn't left anything. He's left half a chance only for Chen now. This is exactly what she has to do. Get those balls off the cushion at the same time. Leave the cue ball safe. Now he's looking at jumping this again. I don't think that's the right option though. Not from where the cue ball is. You're going to be coming in with a lot of pace. Because he has to clear both the 1 ball and the black ball. The pace is the problem for me. Cue ball might be going off the table if he makes contact with the 11. Oh, what a shot that is. He controlled that so well, got more elevation than pace. This is gonna be a big frame for Liang Xiu. No extensions, as he did use it on his first visit to the table. It's close, it's there, that's there. Gets his 4th point on the board, and that one's going to sting Chen a little bit because she knew she should have had it when she played those safety shots. The score is 7-4 in favor of Chen Ziming. Scoreline on our other table, that's Kong De-Jing against Jing Zhaohai. Score there is 4-all at the moment in that race to 17 as well. They are on their 8-frame player break at the moment. Liang Xiu to break. He's been breaking quite well. Needs to keep doing that. He's got the cue ball controlled, but it doesn't look like he's going to make anything. (7-4), and she's got the 12 stripe to the center pocket. Doesn't need to play the 15 or the 13, my apologies, on the right hand side of the table. That can be her last ball. It comes off the table. Also the reason why we could see the cue ball being slightly looser than it is from both players is they have reclothed the table overnight. Which means we've gone from a cloth that was played in for 10 days to a brand new cloth, and it of course does play slightly different. So whether you are trying to overcompensate for the speed, then overrunning slightly, then underrunning. But what we should see is as the match progresses, to expect to see a better cue ball control and more perfect finishes from these two players like we usually see. All she needs to do is get past the 3. Black ball to the top right corner pocket. Yeah, just like that. Even that, a little bit too much pace, but rather longer than shorter, of course. 3 was a huge blocker ball there, and very easy to undercue that and end up behind the 3. As Chen takes her 8th point with a rack and run, and that is off the dry break from Liang Xiu. She is 8-4 up in this race to 17.
立百文台泥，高档羊毛皂。
So far in this match, we have 12 frames played, 6 one-visit clearances, 3 rack and runs from Liang Xiu, 2 break and runs, 1 rack and run from Chen Zeming. Seven looks like it's in. It is, and that power break is working for her. Quite a lot of power in that. Cue ball controlled slightly as well. 7 going straight into the right center pocket. It's a good rack and run from her in the previous frame to regain control of the table. Nice bank, and she's landed good on the 12 also. Yeah, powered that into the opposite center pocket. Now 13 sitting just outside the right center pocket. It does look like it could go if you are right behind it. From this overhead, it doesn't look like the blue stripe 10 goes past the 1. That would be the best natural connector after the 12. Which is why she's had to go back down table. You should see her intentionally landing low on the 14 so she can travel the cue ball up to play the 13 into the center pocket. So it's 13 to the center, 9 to the bottom right corner pocket, and black ball to the same center pocket where the 14's going. That's what she could do here. Would have actually preferred to be a little lower on that 13 ball, but she's actually come around and had a look whether she can see the 10 from there. Yeah, these are tricky. So now if she was straight in behind that, she would have been much closer to the 9 to play the 9. However, now being where she is, the 10 is the better option. The reason I did fancy the 9 rather is it was a much easier black ball to the center pocket. There's always a chance of landing in the no man's land here, but she's okay on the black ball. And it's there. That is another break and run for her. Definitely taking control of this match now is Chen Semming as she gets her 9th point on the board. She leads 9 frames to 4 over Liang Xiu. And so far, she is definitely looking slightly stronger in this match, the semi-final match. And that is the 3rd time in this match she's potted the cue ball on the break. That is way too many times, and all it means is Liang Xiu has not made the most of those opportunities. Whether he's taken those frames or not, he hasn't stayed at the table. Once again, cue ball in hand behind the balk line. Has to play forward. Can't play any of the object balls that are within the balk area. Now that is solids in play. Now on this half of the table, they look simple enough. It's the 5 and 6. Doesn't look like it's a dead set combination. So either he makes the combination or he plays into them. Or he could do that now. With the 14 removed, he's opened up the pocket to the 6. Remove the 6, the 5's available into the opposite corner as well. It's a clever shot from Liang Xiu. This is much better from him, but it's no use taking all these rack and runs. He's got 3 so far, but he's not managing to stay at the table. He's not managing to make a break and run. His opponent, Chen Suming, currently on 3 break and runs. He's going to need to get a few to catch up with her. And that is a nice rack and run from Liang Shu off the break from Chen Siming, where she potted the cue ball to get his 5th point on the scoreboard. Shot of that frame was the shot to remove the 14 from that pocket, open up the 6, which then in turn opened up the 5, and he was able to make the clearance from there. 9-5, race to 17. Chen is 8 frames away, and Liang Shu 4 frames away from her. The only way I see him catching up is if he can put together a few consecutive break and runs. Changing his breaking position now. Is he going second ball? That did look like it was second ball. It was glancing the first ball onto the second. And yeah, he's going through it at the moment with the breaks. You can see he's trying different things. He knows it's not working for him. And usually when players break from the side like that, it's a little bit more of a clustered table. So if it is dry, it's not the most simple clearance. As you can see, the 4 is slightly awkward, 3 as well. However, she's not going to need the 3 if she can get to the 4 and the 2, which is top end of the table. At the moment, the ball blocking the 4 from going in is the 1. If the 1 was removed, then you could come down the left side. So what you could do here is play up to the top end of the table for the 2, go 2-5-4. Doesn't want to be straight on this though. And that's very close to being straight, so she's going to have to work the cue ball. Yeah, there we can see she has the slightest bit of angle. She can either stun through that angle or deep screw reverse side off the left side cushion. There we go. That's the deep screw. Better, much better. She was able to really pull a lot out of that angle. Lot of cue power. Chen Semming. Cushion and back up. It's all about pace. The line is good and the pace looks to be perfect as well. Slightly on the wrong side, but shouldn't be too much of an issue for her. The black ball waiting outside the center pocket. Three ball goes down. And this was good. That was class from Chen Semming as she gets another rack and run on the board. It's off the dry break from Liang Xiu for her 10th point.
一点是聚焦、沉淀；一线是专注、艺术；一面是缜密、智慧。方寸间雕刻，毫厘间镶嵌。成木质之美，雕。
6局，陈思明开球。
So in the previous frame, Chen gets her 10th point, leading 10 frames to 5 over Liang Xiu with another rack and run. That's 3 break and runs, 2 rack and runs for her. And his breaks aren't working. So what is happening here is every time she dry breaks, he's making the clearance, but he's not able to stay at the table. He breaks dry or doesn't make the finish. She makes the clearance and then counters with a break and run of her own. And that's the reason she's going up by 2 every time. That has been the pattern. For every 1 frame he gets, she gets 2. She's on double digits now, just 7 away from the finish line. And for a place in the final of this tournament, which will be later tonight at 7:30 p.m. No, it's not there. It's a good attempt though, and Liang Xiu is going to get an opportunity. And in our other semi-final, Jing Zhaohai against Kong Dejing, they are back from the player break, each with another frame. It's 5 all there. Of course, it's no secret that one of the players I think is going to be in the final is going to be Jing Zhaohai. The performances we've seen on the TV table from him and in the previous tournaments, he's always right there. Very complete player is Jing Zhaohai. Nicely done to push the 4 out of the way. 13-12 black ball. It should be another point for him. Once again, this is off Chen's break, so he will be breaking in the next frame if he wins this. It is winner's break format. And it's about time he makes the most of those opportunities when he is breaking. That's another rack and run for Liang Xiu. That is 5 rack and runs now for him. And that is 16 frames played, score 10-6 to Chen Siming. We will have a 10-minute player break.
比赛专用，提醒您，精彩比赛马上开始。
Wasted your love and won't waste anymore. Wish there was an angel sit up on my shoulder.
老孙啥功名不要，只求回到这花果山中了。过过逍遥日子。
天要求干，化一切为可能。欧尚地毯突破核心科技。从智能车间到高品质球房，重新定义标准，为每一个台球梦想铺好第一步。铺好毯，打好球，不掉毛，零干扰。
职业选手的第一选择，欧尚地毯，掉毛地毯终结者。
超级蓝钻皮头职业版。采用进口头层水牛皮，韧性好，弹性持久，颗颗精选，粒粒碾压，严格质检，世界职业球员必用的皮头，超级蓝钻，祝您夺冠！
罂粟胶边具有国内胶边很难做到的特点，罂粟胶边的硬度达到了45度。使反射角高度接近入射角，罂粟整条胶边误差小于20丝，因而各部位酷性一致。欢迎各品牌厂家使用罂粟胶边来提升台球桌的专业性能。好胶边罂粟皂，好胶边罂粟皂。
超级蓝钻皮头，黄金版、白金版，采用进口头层水牛皮，颗颗精选，严格质检，韧性好，弹性持久，世界职业球员必用的皮头，超级蓝钻，一专业，缔造不凡。 2025赛季中式八球大师赛收官之战，力败文台尼乔士杯2025中式八球大师赛南宁站，全球顶尖选手着陆绿城南宁，甲级赛、超级赛近1000万奖金池，虚位以待。赛事与首届南宁台球产业博览会同步启幕，以沉浸式体验空间展现中国制造，以国际高峰论坛探索品牌出海新路径，深耕南方市场，拓展中国。
暂停结束，比赛继续，17局，梁诗雨开球。犯规。先后责成。
And we are back after that player break. The score 10-6 in favor of Chen Sliming. That was Liang Shu breaking, and he's changed his break. As you saw, he's taken a bit of pace out of it, more controlled, but how unlucky is he with the breaks at the moment? Cue ball going into the top right corner pocket. It's just not his day breaking at the moment. If it changes, however, and he starts potting a ball on the break consistently, I think he can very quickly get back into the match. But now the player with the momentum and definitely more table time as well. Bless you. I actually wonder if the stopwatch stops for that. I think it does. Now with the placement of the solids, hard to see which is the ball she's gonna get removed off the table. She's got 4, 5, 6 there. Plays the 3 to the bottom. Can leave the 2 ball as the ball that comes off the table then. A little bit far with that screw back. She's not on the right side of the 5, which means ball cushion and back up 6 to the right center pocket. Needed to travel a bit more, and you can still see that the pace judgment is not fully there yet. We're seeing a few overruns, underruns. Kiss into the black ball. She's pushed the black ball. Does it pot past the 2 from this angle? I don't think so. She has got the 3 to the center pocket. I don't see the potting angle on the 2, unfortunately. It's tough to say from here. Look, the black ball does go into the bottom left, but to be on it to the bottom left, that's the problem. Even if it does pass to the bottom right, she's not on the right side of the 3. Passes, so it goes to the bottom left corner pocket, and she's had no choice but to leave a tough black ball for herself. Best case scenario, of course, she pots it. Second best case scenario, she leaves it right in the jaws of the pocket, which means that blue stripe 10 and pink stripe 12 will be a problem for Liang Xiu. It's not there, and it's not in front of the pocket either. Get that quite a bit too thick for her to get her 11th point on the board. And you see how early in the frame that started off, where she was off position, and it continued right to the end. Now, when these players are really like warmed up and playing well, they're able to even make the best out of those bad positional shots, to very quickly recover and get back into position. Worst thing you can do in this game is make every single shot hard for yourself. Not only makes that frame hard, but imagine playing a race to 17 where every frame you're at the table, you're out of position. It's very mentally draining as well. I think there was the slightest of parts of that black ball available for her to get to, and felt that she could be able to cut that in. What he could do here is a run through and just push the 10. He's pushed it about 5 centimeters. It's not the greatest. Frozen ball. I would say take the 10 on now. You miss it, it's blocking the pocket. You pot it, and you are definitely on one of your stripes. Cue ball will be coming across the table. You should be on the 11 to the center pocket. Cue ball needs to slow down. It's a good pot. Good pot on the 10. He had cover if he missed it. It's tricky though. This has to go. But he's played it 2 ways. He's played it to leave the cue ball safe. At the same time, he hasn't left himself with great position. It's not there. Yeah, it's the two-way shot that cost him. Like, we don't know if it's going to cost him the frame yet. He has left part of that black ball. It's there, it's potable, but it's those two-way shots it's cost him. some point in a frame, you've got to commit everything. And that point was earlier for him. It was an excellent shot on the 10. Deserved to take the frame after that. Should have taken the frame after that, but it goes to Chen Ziming. She gets her 11th point on the board, leading 11 frames to 6 over Liang Xiu. Zheng Zhaohai has taken the lead against Kong Dejing. Score was 5-all when they came back from the break. It's now 7-5 to Zheng Zhaohai with 2 break-and runs, 1 rack-and-run. Kong Dejing with 2 break-and runs and 2 rack-and-runs. That is the other semi-final that is underway at the moment. And currently, if I had to call a final, it would be Chen Ziming against Zheng Zhaohai. Chen has showed a lot of consistency throughout the stage 4. So has Zheng Zhaohai. What we are seeing on the TV table is not her finest performance. However, she is able to grind through, and when she gets the opportunity, get the point on the board. And not all matches are going to be straight break and runs and consecutive break and runs. There are going to be matches like this where both players aren't playing to their maximum capabilities, but it's about who can grind through and get the points on the board. If you are the player potting the black ball, counts the same as if you've made a break and run or rack and run. Potting the black ball is potting the black ball, and it counts just 1 point. Of course, the advantage of consecutive break and runs is that you are keeping your opponent cold, keeping them in that chair. We saw it yesterday with Zheng Zhaohai against Wang Luqi. After those 7 consecutive break and runs, it was very difficult for her to get back into the match. She was 12-0 down before she took her first point. That's known as the electric chair in American pool. When you put your opponent in that seat for quite a few consecutive frames. Now, from what I can see, if Chen has to get into the final, it's going to be the breaks that are the problem for her. Because both the players in the other semi-final both break very well. Especially Zheng Zhaohai's got the breakdowns consistent. At one point yesterday, he had a 92% of potting a ball on the break. And that 92% was at 12 breaks, 11 pots on the break. You're risking nudging into the black ball here, or going past it. He's risking going into it. think he's okay. I think he's just okay. It could have gone wrong. He hits that thinner cue balls behind the 9. It's there, nicely done from Liang Xiu as he gets another rack and run on the board with his 7th point, trailing 11 frames to 7. He has got 6 rack and runs thus far, no break and runs. Chen with 3 break and runs and 2 rack and runs.
Q
11-7, race to 17 for a place in the final at this tournament. Can Liang Xiu get the break right? Previous one was slightly softer, potted the cue ball. Similar to that, but it's just not hitting it clean enough. There's something there that's missing that we see in Sun Yan's break, Jing Zhaohai's break, and Chu Bingxi's break. Now this has been the pattern so far. It's Chen breaks dry, Liang makes a clearance, not able to stay at the table. He then breaks dry and Chen capitalizes and then makes a break and run on top of that. But it's not to be this time. Liang is going to have an opportunity in this frame. Not a miss that you see often from Chen as well. Not at all. Hasn't gotten too fortunate with that, decided to go into them, try and create something in this frame, but he's not nicely on anything. The 10 does go to the center, it's not easy. If he takes a 13 to the center now, he's left in a very similar situation. Taking the 10 to the center, it'll mean the cue ball is also heading into traffic. Unless he can get through for the 14. That was the worry. That was the worry. Very nearly gave away the entire frame with that one shot. Black ball was always going to be the traffic from playing the 10 into the center pocket. Also missing a long pot is Liang Xiu, and you see how fast Chen's at the table because he has broken up that one ball for her. The one ball now goes. It's a good starter for her at this table. Even the 4 as well, having cleared the 13. That's the thing, you can't give a player like Chen Simming this many chances. Can't. Yes, she's going to miss the odd ball now and again, but it's not going to happen often. Six is the ball she doesn't need. If she can get shape on the 3, she goes 3-2, black ball. Cue ball is past the center pockets, which means she's going to need the extension on the cue. Now that doesn't really cause much of an issue for these players using that. It does add some weight to the back of the cue. Of course, that will mess with the balance slightly, but these players are so used to it. Six goes off the table. Black ball is there for Chen to get her 12th point. She's got it. She leads 12 frames to 7. Lead back up to 5 frames against Liang Xiu. She's just 5 frames away from the finish line. There was a time in this match she was 8 away from the finish line and 4 away from her opponent. She's now 5 away from the magic number 17 and 5 away from her opponent. So even now, if she gets 1 frame for every frame he takes, she will eventually get to 17 before him. There was a lot of power in that as well. Let's see, the 6 ball goes in. Yeah, what's the path of the 6? It gets kicked by the 12. But look at the 4, 5, and 1 also almost making it in. A 6 ball in, and you've got 3 solids right in front of the pockets. Yeah, this is quite interesting. Like, you're gonna have to take solids, no doubt, because of where the 1 is. Those 3 stripes have to go into that pocket. 3 ball can come off the table, which will clear the black ball, but it's still not gonna be the easiest black ball. So does she think that maybe trying to disturb 3 and black ball a little bit? So she hasn't managed to really move the black ball down table, but getting the 13 out of the way, that will help. As I said, the 3 ball will come off the table. And she might have to settle for taking that black ball down to the bottom left corner pocket.
10秒。
Becoming a bit tricky now. It's not where she wanted to be. Does the 7 go into the opposite center? It does. The slight angle she has on the 2 can get the cue ball into that space. Let's not forget about the 1 ball sitting at the top end of the table. And that will mean 1 ball to the black ball. And she hasn't got the gap. Didn't get into the cue ball enough there. So she doesn't have the 1 ball, but what she could do she could leave the 1 ball there actually. She leaves the 1 ball there, it'll cause a problem for stripes. That was not an easy one to get. Doesn't want to tie up the 3 either. And with the 1 ball being where it is, black ball now out into open play. She has the advantage in this frame. It was advantage until he pots the 1. He's potted the 1 and he's left her with no shot on the black ball. For a moment there, I didn't realize that 3 came off the table. I thought she was on it. So it's jump cue out for Chen Siming. What a piece of good fortune Liang Xiu has gotten by getting the 1 behind the 14. I expected to come close to getting this. Oh, look at that. That was very, very close to potting this. In our other semi-final between Zheng Xiaohai and Kong Dejing, the score is 7-all at the moment. And with Liang having 6 object balls on the table and the black ball tied up like that, there should be no way that Chen Siming wins this frame. Yeah, because he can do things like that, get the balls into better positions. If she can't get the black ball, it's going to be ball in hand as well. Use the ball in hand to keep maneuvering the stripes into better positions, and then when he's ready, take the frame on and take the clearance on. Yeah, so this has to come inside of the 12. It looks okay. It's inside of the 12. It's going to be 11 first, unfortunately. And actually, as you see, there is There is a finish available. Yeah, it's on. It's there. By moving the 11, she has made this finish available for Liang Xiu. We'll make sure he lands slightly low on the 14 to the opposite center pocket. Leave the cue ball on a natural pathway to get up to the black ball. You can't get much better than that. And it's there, 8 point to Liang Xiu. Score is 12-8. Chen Siming 4 frames ahead at the moment, and she is 5 away from the finish line. Will be Liang Xiu to break. Now, if he can get a good break, that's how he can get back into this match really quickly. There we have it, Liang Xiu with 5 rack and runs, no break and runs yet. That's because he has not been having the best luck with the breaks. Chen with 3 break and runs, 2 rack and runs at the moment. So 20 frames played thus far. Race to 17 to get into the final later today. He's trying the softer controlled break, but it's not working for him. This is going to be slightly frustrating. It has to be, because it's just been his breaks. Yes, a few errors now and again, but the breaks have been letting him down. If you give him a 90% potting a ball on the break, I'm sure that the scoreline would look very different in this match. Now looking at the stripes layout, you have the 15 in front of the yellow 1 on the right side. So wouldn't need to take the 15. She does get the 1 ball off the table. Kong Dejing has taken the lead in our other semi-final. He's 8-7 up against Xing Zhaohai. That is a very, very tight match. And Kong has just taken his 9th point. He's now 9-7 up against Xing Zhaohai. So far, very neat, very clean, very controlled from Chen. I'm sure she can feel that she's closing in on that winning line, closing in on being in the final. Better cue ball control this time. looking to go 5 frames in front again. She's been trying to keep that 4 to 5 frame lead throughout the match. .15 goes off the table. She's on the black ball to the bottom right corner pocket. And that is another rack and run for her to get her 13 point, leading by 5 frames. Score is 13-8 to Chen Siming.
俗称黑八，是一项原创于中国的运动，在乔氏的推动下，已走进全球96个国家。乔氏中式八球，风靡全球的中国运动。
Leading by 5 and just 4 away from the finish line. Now Chen Siming to break. This is a winner's break format, race to 17, semi-final here at the Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour. 6 balls in. Gets a bit of a bounce, she'll be on the 11. 704 players started this tournament, now down to the last 4 players. That's these 2 players and Jing Xiaohai and Kong Dejing in the other semi-final. Around 50 international players were in this tournament. Open draw with 650 plus Chinese players. Of course, very, very difficult to get far in a tournament like this, playing against the best Chinese players in the world. All the players who you've seen in the last 32 have been in stage 1. So you could have drawn Chen in the first round, you could have drawn Zheng Tai. And that's why it was an amazing feat from Jose Alberto Delgado from Spain to make it into the last 32. Was the last remaining international player in this tournament. And unfortunately, in the last 32 was defeated by Wang Luqi, who we had on the TV table yesterday. Scoreline there was 15-12. Final of this tournament will be tonight at 7:30 local time. Super Tour will start tomorrow with the opening ceremony as well. International qualifiers going on. And that format is just like the Grandmasters finals, where Chinese players and international players play separately until we get into the last 16 of each division respectively. And they come together, open draw, 32 player playoff in stage 3. So Chen not able to convert from that break, missing the 1 to the left center pocket. Black ball not easy as well on the table currently. Now looks to have enough of an angle from the 12 to disturb the black ball. If he is playing that shot, he's going to be looking at where Where's he gonna be if he's playing his next stripe? How far down does he come? Or will he choose to use another stripe to get into the black ball? That was the plan from there, but has he been a little bit fortunate? It was a good shot to get the black ball out like that. It's nicely out to the center pocket. That was a cracking pot. That was an absolutely cracking pot from where the cue ball was. Not easy at all. Didn't want to be playing that at a slow pace. Yeah, and that was the 11 ball catching Liang Shu out there, not able to get this point on the board at that visit, and chance back over to Chen. Yeah, I'm sure she can feel that she's getting much closer after this frame. If she gets it on the board, she'll just be 3 away. So far, she's been keeping a 4 frame to 5 frame gap. Start of this match at the first break, it was 6-2, so she's had a 4 frame gap from that time onwards. It was not clean with the 4 going into the top right corner pocket, but she's on the 7 to the center. Doesn't need the 2 that's up table. That will be the ball coming off the table. At 16 frames played, the score was 10-6 in favor of Chen, so she's had a 4-frame gap then as well. And gets the 14th point on the board. She's leading 14-8 over Liang Shu, 3 away from the magic number 17, and now 6 away from her opponent. So far, those stats haven't changed. 5 rack and runs for Liang Shu, 3 break and runs, 3 rack and runs for Chen Siming. And just by looking at those stats, you can see that Liang Shu has not had the luck of the break. Not at all, because how rare is it that we see 0 break and runs in a match, especially at this stage in the tournament. That's the bread and butter of these players. That's how they are able to take the lead and extend the lead through those consecutive break and runs. And now, dry break from Chen. There's a chance. Score is still 9-7 in the other semi-final between Kong Dejing and Jing Zhaohai. Kong is 9-7 up. Now from here, it looks like the 4 doesn't go cleanly. Might have to go cushion first, then into the 13. But if you are going cushion first, you have to go quite high into the cushion. Catch the 13 with the momentum like that. I'd say if he's going for this, he should bank the 6 now. Bank the 6 if he can, screw back into the 7 slightly, or get the cue ball off the cushion into the 7. Didn't get the 7. It might have to bank the 7 as well. If he can manage to get the 7 in, he should be able to see some of the 3, some of the 2. If he's not on the 1, so he's going for this, he's committing. It's not there, but what has he left? .11 might pass the 3 into the top right corner, but that's very risky to take that pot on. She's taken her extension as well. Her first visit to this table. That is a very, very clever shot from her. Getting that 3 away from the corner pocket and safe onto the cushion. The only thing is, with where she's left it, it is bankable towards the 2. That would be the shot that Liang Shu can play to get the 3 out. I think he's come a bit far to play the bank, though. Yeah, that's why he didn't. Tough table for both players at the moment, although if Liang Shu gets another visit to the table, he's going to be trying to pot that 14 using the 3, or coming off the 3 rather. And that's exactly the first thing he's going to look at, is whether he can get the 3 in the pocket, move the 14 out. Yeah, I don't know about that. At the pace he played that, he never knew exactly what was going to happen. It was thought he might replace the 14 with the 3, but now the 3's gone safe again. I would say the thought to play the 9 onto the 1 and leave the cue ball safe would have gone through her mind as well. There's also 12 onto the 2. Use her ball to pot the 2, leave the cue ball safe also. It's a legal shot in Heyball rules to pot your opponent's ball as long as you make contact with your ball first. Like that. Cue ball very close to the ball cushion. That makes life a bit more difficult for Liang Shu. Three out into open play, but the only problem I see with that is he has left the 12. So he feels that Chen can't clear the table from here. Or can't clear the table, or can't lay a really good safety to keep him at bay. It's good. That is good. I don't think he can get through to the potting angle of the 1 from there. There might just be enough of the 9 in the way, but can he? I think the one is a frozen ball by the looks of it. He and the referee have had... Yes, it is. Oh, this is good. This is in. This is in from that distance. He's not wanted that. Because he's played to leave this cue ball safe on the bottom cushion and to get that ball close to that top corner. Now, being a frozen ball, it meant that either that ball or the cue ball still need to make contact with another cushion after contact. Couldn't just roll up the cue ball onto that object ball. That would be a foul. So after contact, either that ball goes and touches a side cushion or the bottom cushion, or the cue ball touches that side cushion. Look at that. That is, I would say, that is one of the best safety shots we've seen in this match thus far. That could be a point-winning shot. The pace control, getting the 15 over onto that side also. It could only be beaten if he pots it, which he does. Had to use a bit of right-hand side to get the cue ball to open up to get there. The only problem with that is there's no position on the black ball. And if this doesn't go, looking at the stripes on the table, it's surely going to be a finish from Chen. Oh, it's there. What a pot that is. That is pot of the match thus far as he gets his 9th point. The score is 14-9, and what a way to get his 9th point from Liang Xiu. I cannot believe he spotted that black ball from there. Unbelievable. I think that goes down as one of the best pots I've seen on the TV table from that distance. To run the black ball down that cushion, and the previous shot as well, escaping the snooker. Maybe that changes things for Liang Xiu. Currently down 14-9. He's opted for power and he's got a result. Made a ball on the break this time. And with the way he's been breaking in this match, that's all he wanted was to see that he makes a ball. Now it looks like he's found something that can work. Because I'm sure he knows as well that's the only way he gets back into this match is if he can put together a few break-in runs. It's gonna be safety. He didn't have a shot after that break, although he's potted on it. And this is now the 24th frame, so it will be a player break after this. Gap is now 5 frames, and Chen has managed to keep a 4-frame gap throughout the previous player breaks. 6-2 at 8 frames played, 10-6 at 16 played. It's there. And it's either going to be 4 frames again when we go into the player break, or 6 if Chen takes this 15th point. It's going to have a little bit of recovery here after that. Not perfect on any of these, has to take care of where the black ball is as well.
Yes,
Yeah, they don't miss that. They don't miss that. Gets the 11 off the cushion as well now.
,10秒。10秒。
Yeah, this has not been an easy clearance for her thus far, and even this black ball now. It stayed in the same position it's been in the entire frame, hasn't been able to move it at all. Looks like the banks are not even available. It means she's gonna have to cut this down the rail.
10秒。
Yeah, that was very tough. That was a very, very tough ask for her to get that right. So table back over to Liang Xu. As I said, we will have a player break after this frame. 24 frames played. So either he goes into that break 4 frames down or 6. Now you'd have seen the last ball taken off the table when Chen was on the table, and that is the handicap rule. players under the age of 14 and female players get 1 ball off the table when playing against male players. That is part of the Heyball rules, has been for a very long time. This will be a good point for Liang to get. Will feel like he's getting some sort of momentum, especially after the previous frame and the way in which he won that previous frame. Potting the black ball the way he did, that was one of the best pots I've seen on the TV table thus far in the tournament. Can't really get any better than that. The only thing is it's past the center pockets, which means extension on the cue. Looks good, it's there. 10th point on the board for Liang Shu as we go into the player break. He's just 4 down, score 14-10 in favor of Chen Siming. We will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes.
乔氏金腿比赛专用，提醒您，精彩比赛马上开始。一线赛事指定台名：丁俊晖、奥沙利文、郑宇博、楚秉杰等国内外一线球星代言。利百文台泥，高档羊毛皂。一点是聚焦、沉淀；一线是专注、艺术；一面是缜密、智慧。方寸间雕刻，毫厘间镶嵌。成木质之美，雕琢洞天；遇腾龙之势，巧思匠心。以点线面，以小线大，步步为营，丝丝入扣。毫厘间不失方寸，握度间尽长天地。龙跃而起，潮流之势，包罗万象。独蜘蛛，匠心之作。
河北省天一集团创立于2013年，注册资金500万，员工230余名，有着10余年的生产经验及研发设计、生产销售于一体的大型生产企业。优秀的员工、先进的技术、精良的设备，严格的管理使公司得以不断的发展壮大。精确、可靠、专业是我们生产的精神和服务信念。
天一沙发让舒适无处不在。
我是代言人郑伟国，新兴暴走，年轻自由。
我是代言人雨龙海，新兴暴走，年轻自由。
我是代言人楚秉杰，星星暴走，年轻自由。
I was born in Louisiana. My mama told my papa, our little boy has got the blues.
You better watch what you do to me. Watch what you do to me.
均500万乔氏大师赛官方供应商，正红胶边均匀回弹，铸就一流打感，持续助力中式台球职业化联赛，制造好球桌，胶边选正红。
俺老孙啥功名不要，只求回到这花果山中了，过逍遥日子。
天要球杆，换一切为可能。中式八球，俗称黑八，是一项原创于中国的运动，在乔氏的推动下，已走进全球96个国家。乔氏中式八球，风靡全球的中国运动。
罂粟胶边具有国内胶边很难做到的特点，罂粟胶边的硬度达到了45度，使反射角高度接近入射角。罂粟整条胶边误差小于20丝，因而各部位酷性一致。欢迎各品牌厂家使用罂粟胶边来提升台球桌的专业性能。好胶边罂粟皂，好胶边罂粟皂。
暂停结束，比赛继续，25局，杨世宇开球。
And we are back with what could be the final part of this match. Still 4 frames in it. From 8 frames played, the score's been 6-2, then 10-6 at 16 played, and now 14-10 at 24 frames played. 25th frame now underway. This is a race to 17 in the semi-final match here at the Division 1 Tour, Joy Heyball Masters and Nanning Station. Let's have a look at the scoreline from our other semi-final on at the moment. Kong De-Jing is 12-8 up against Zheng Zhaohai. Kong with 6 break-in runs, 4 rack-in runs. Zheng Zhaohai 2 break-in runs, 1 rack-in run. So looking at that, looking at the scoreline and those stats, it looks like the breaks haven't been working as well as they were yesterday for Zheng Zhaohai. Having 7 consecutive break-in runs yesterday. That is the tournament record so far for this tournament. We haven't seen more than that, especially on the TV table. A total of 9 break-in runs in a race to 17 yesterday against Wang Luqi. So far in this match, consistently, Chen has managed to keep that 4-frame gap. It's very important to note that it's been 6, it's been 5, but nothing less than 4. So she's always kept Liang Xu at bay, but by his own doing as well, he's not been able to find the breaks. As you saw in this 25th frame, had the break, broke try. having the break in this game is such an advantage, which is why the winner's break format can be so dangerous. But you have to be able to do the most you can with that opportunity at the table. And at first, it started off with Chen not breaking that well, so it was very close at the beginning. But then she was able to find a break that works for her, and that's why she currently has 3 break-and runs at least in this match. No break-and runs thus far for Liang Xiu. You can see a little bit of decision time for Chen, whether to take the 15 or the 11. One of them will come off the table. The one that she doesn't take now. She's not perfect on the 11 to get onto the black ball, and the 5 being in the way means even if you stun past the black ball onto the left side, black ball not available into the center and past the 5. And to me, it looks like it's not even available to the top corner. I have to get the camera behind that to see if it goes. She's looking at it. There we go. It's very close. That has to go in off the jaw, actually. We are right behind that. We were right behind that. We wouldn't be playing this too hard, though. Yeah, I want to give that every opportunity to make it into the pocket and to get past the jaw. So she did have a 6-frame lead at 14-8 up. It's been reduced to 4. And those were 2 frames where she made mistakes. Because of where the black ball finished, it's not even available to that center past the 2. To me, it looks like the only option is to bank this to the bottom left corner pocket. It's gonna be slightly wide. It's gonna stay close to the pocket though, a little bounce. But all that could mean is an easy black ball for Liang Xiu now at the table. And if he can find his break, he's got a bit of momentum in these last few frames, winning the previous 2. If he wins this one, reduces the deficit to 3 frames, finds a good break, puts a break and run together, it's 2 frames. And although you might see the scoreline and think you're 4-0 down, you can very quickly change the end result. But he's not going to do it like that. He is not going to do it by missing balls like that. I cannot believe he's missed that. Honestly, I think he knew it was the wrong shot to play. In that situation, the 3 was the right shot. He should have trusted himself, had faith in his ability. The 3 was the correct shot to take, and Chen Siming gets away with that frame, back up to 5 frames in the lead as she is 15-10 up on Liang Xu, race to 17 for a place in the final. And there you have it, 0 break-in runs for Liang, 5 rack-in runs. Chen with 3 break-in runs and rack-in runs, respectively. Now, if she breaks well, she's on the hill. And then just 1 away from being in that final. That final will be a race to 19 frames later on today at 7:30 p.m. local time in China. Ball potted. But I have to say, Liang Xu has done well to keep the scoreline that close. Although he's had almost 0 luck with the breaks, he's had 0 break-in runs. Because really, that's how these players play at this level. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to break-in runs. Especially with the winners break format. Not only break-in runs, consecutive break-in runs. Staying at the table, that is how you either catch up or increase your lead a lot. Now what do we see as the plan for the black ball? She could leave an angle on the 3 and nudge the black ball. Could use the 7 as well, but I prefer the 3 as the ball to just get into the black ball slightly and clear it past the center pocket. There's the angle that we see. She has to be careful to pot this. You'd want to be going off the outside jaw here. That was the problem. Yeah, it's those little errors, just like in the previous frame where she caught the 4. Because this could definitely go, but she's aimed it to the center of the pocket, and that's going to be bringing you very close to that object ball that was just outside. Although the pockets are tight, there are 3 parts to the pocket. You have the right, the center, the left. At this level, even when these players practice, they practice to pot a ball in a certain part of a pocket. For instance, that's down the middle, and you could see there was a gap on either side, so you can aim it slightly to the right, slightly to the left. Usually doing so if you need to maneuver the cue ball a bit more, if you don't have too much of an angle, or less. So that was careless from Chen. She's opened the door, and I think the only comfort she might have is that her opponent has not been breaking well. But he is doing well in this frame, and that's going to be another rack and run for him. It's there. He takes his 11th point. He's just 4 down now. With Chen 2 away from the finish line, the score is 15-11. Careless. careless error from Chen, unfortunately. And in our other semi-final, I see Zheng Zhaohai has pulled 2 back. The score is 12-10 in favor of Kong De-Jing. It was 12-8. Kong on 6 break-in runs, 4 rack-and runs, and Zheng Zhaohai 3 break-in runs, 1 rack-and run at the moment. He's tried to go for power, but it's not there. And I think he even knows that with his opponent being up at the moment, it's just a matter of time if he doesn't get the breaks right. Now, if you have just joined us, welcome to the 2025 Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour. I have to say, if you've just joined us, you are late to the party. This match started 3 hours ago. The semi-final here raced to 17. It is between Chen Siming and Liang Xu for a spot in the final later today. 704 players started this tournament, down to just 4. The other 2 players are Zheng Zhaohai and Kong De-Jing. They are currently playing. The score is 12-10 to Kong. Yeah, I think you can also, what you can see with Chen is when she dials in and she really starts to focus, there's a bit of difference in the way she plays then. Now the black ball looks like it goes past the 6 into the bottom left, so all she needs here is line of sight of the 15. In that scenario, I think it would have been a bit risky to try and come inside the 1 ball, since it does go from here. But the thing is, you don't want to end up on top of the 1, unfortunately. Yeah, played that well to move the 1 instead of getting on top of it. And don't be alarmed if you see the referee taking the last ball off. That is the last ball handicap that female players and players under the age of 14 get when playing against a male player. And Chen gets on the hill, 16th point with another rack and run. That is off the dry break of Liang Xu. She is 16-11 up.
28局，陈思明开球。
Chen Seming on the hill, 16-11 up on Liangshu. Race to 17. It is winner's break format, no time limit on these matches. Does she make a ball? No. Black ball almost getting kicked in, but it's going to be a dry break. And it is a chance for Liangshu. So what would be going through his head at the moment? Opponent on the hill, you're 5 behind. Haven't had the best of... Yeah, you haven't had the best of luck with the breaks. Add to that a few mistakes. Yeah, once the ball leaves the cushion, it's not going back, and you could see when he played it, did not play that perfectly. It left the cushion and didn't end up going in. He spotted quite a few like that before in the match. Now, if she can pot the 2 with the 11, put the cue ball behind the black ball and the 13. It's a little bit straight in on this. See if she can get the cue ball there. That was the plan. That could be a match-winning shot. Didn't have the angle to run it through, had to play a stun run to get there, and this is going to be jump cue from Liangshu. Now, if this is not successful, it might be the last shot he plays in this match. It's not there. And there's options available to Chen. Of course, first viable option is the 11, which she left in front of this pocket. 15 and 10 do go to the centers. Not far enough on this 14 if she wanted to take the 9 up table. However, we did see that the 13 looks like it does pass the black ball. Oh, this is nice. This is very nice. Let's come around to have a look at the 13 once again. This camera angle is very deceiving, but with the previous one, it did look like it does go. I think from that distance she might need the extension on the cue. She's just able to get to it. There we go, it definitely does go. There is enough space. Oh, Chen Siming, what are you doing? And I was a bit worried about that because it was close to the black ball, and it's now the third shot in the last 3 frames she's had similar to that, where she's kissed the ball that the ball's been next to, and that's why she's overcompensated for that and played that too thick into the inside jaw. That should have been 17th point for Chen. So had to check the cue ball a lot there. He had a little bit too much angle on the 5. And it looks like he's gonna be within 4 once again, as Liang Xie gets another point on the board. Score is 16-12 to Chen Siming, and that was a big error from her. I have to say, it's 3 frames where she's made a similar error, when she's had a ball very close to another ball and just hasn't been able to judge it perfectly. And you see the stats, no break and runs for Liang Xie. Now, if he can find his break miraculously, and if he can find 5 consecutive break and runs, he wins the match. But of course, odds not in his favor, judging by what has been going on in the last 3.5 hours. But this has been the story of the match. Dry break after dry break after dry break. And he's been trying everything. He's tried almost every place on the balk line to try and get a ball in. Tried different power, different places on the pack. You've got a feel for a player if that's happening at a stage like this in the tournament, in a semi-final. He is the player that defeated Sun Yuan yesterday, and yesterday he had 8 break and runs in total. Now tell me, how is that possible? How is that possible that 12 hours later you can't make a ball on the break? Scoreline in the other semi-final, Kong De-Jing 13-11 up on Jing Zhaohai. They are at the 24 frame player break at the moment. Chen is making this difficult for herself. It has not been straightforward the last few frames. I think in the last 4 frames she just had 1 clearance that got her onto the hill. Chance for Liang Xiu again. He's 4 frames down, and his opponent is 1 away from the finish line. Look, this was not easy by any means, but she put herself in that position. Now as stripes, you come to the table. You've got to be thinking, how do I deal with the 13? That's the orange stripe on the left side. Now even that, the side in which you get to it from matters. Of course, you don't want to be pushing it towards the 4. You'd much prefer to get it up by the center pocket. Another option, of course, is you move the 2 and then the bank is available. As we can see, the 12 is not. So this is not simple at all for Liang Xiu.
10秒。
There is enough angle on this to actually get into it. As I said, move the 2, you have the bank available. The bank is now there. This will be a clutch finish if he can make it, especially under the pressure that he's on. It's there. He's got it. Like to see from behind the 12 again. The cue ball's come through there. I don't think it's opened it up for a pot. It could pot to the center though. Yeah, it's back against the wall at the moment. Everything must go for Liang Xiu.
10秒。
And they are. Little bounce off the cushion. Okay, he's got an angle on this as well. Now from the previous camera angle we had, 12 doesn't go into the bottom left corner pocket, so he can get the cue ball coming towards the black ball to play the 12 into the center. Oh, he's okay. He's okay. He's threaded the gap. There's a lot riding on this 12 to stay in the match. He's got it. It's an excellent pot to the top right corner pocket. It's there. He takes his 13 point. That missed one ball to the center pocket from Chen. Yeah, this was a cracking pot. He misses that. I mean, look at all the solids are there at the bottom end of the table. The score is 16-13 in favor of Chen Ziming. she had an opportunity 2 frames ago to finish this match off. I think she was 2 or 3 pots away. So not a good feeling at all sitting in that chair. Now, he's got a small smile on his face, and that's because he knows that the break has not been working for him. So he's desperately going to want to pot a ball now. See 6 solids on the table, which means he's pot a solid. Where has it gone? That's the 1 into the bottom right corner pocket. So finally, he's made a ball on the break. Currently on 0 break and runs is Liang Shu. In yesterday's match, he's had 8. So obviously more than capable of putting together a few break and runs. And towards the latter stages of this match, we've seen a little bit of momentum coming his way. There were a few points that he took where he shouldn't have. A few excellent pots that he's made under a lot of pressure. The thing in this game, it's not how you start, it's what you can do at the end and how you can finish. I tell you what, if this 5 goes to the center pocket, he's looking like he's finishing strong. It's not there. It's not there. Caught the outside jaw. There's 2 ways to play that. There was the way he played it at almost dead weight, giving it a chance to get into the center, holding the cue ball for the 7 and 3, which he did. As you can see, the position was perfect. Or play it the positive way, run the cue ball up and down the table off the bottom cushion, and that way you're releasing the stroke a bit more. There's less chance of any decel in the stroke. Of course, it's how you're feeling at the time you take the shot. I mean, we aren't in his shoes. But as you saw, the position was perfect on the 3 and the 7. That would have been his first break and run. Actually didn't think she'd be setting on the 14. I thought she'll be playing that previous ball to get the cue ball up table slightly. She's going to use the 14 to get there. A little bit more would have been nicer. Played that nicely, trusted herself that she knew exactly where the cue ball is going there. Coming inside of the top right corner pocket of 2 cushions and out. And that's the missed 5. Now then, 12 comes off the table. This black ball for the match and a place in the final. And it's there. Chen Semming books her place in the final of the Joy Heyball Masters Nanning Station Division 1 Tour. She will be playing later on today at 7:30 p.m. and she'll be playing against the winner of Kong Dejing and Jing Zhaihao semi-final on at the moment. The score is 13-12 there. It's a race to 17 as well. What a win for Chen. She wins 17-13 over Liang Xiu. But I have to say, very unlucky to him in that. Could have done much better if his breaks were better in the end. Was almost able to come through. Thank you guys for joining us, and we hope you are having a lovely festive period. We'll be back later on today. I'm your commentator, Raymond Tillack from South Africa for the Joy Heyball events. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
中式八球，俗称黑八，是一项原创于中国的运动，在乔氏的推动下，已走进全球96个国家。乔氏中式八球，风靡全球的中国运动。冠军500万乔氏大师赛官方供应商，正红胶边均匀回弹，铸就一流打感，持续助力中式台球职业化联赛，制造好球桌，胶边选正红。
俺老孙啥功名不要，